In the quiet town of Macombi, surrounded by dusty roads and tall acacia trees, stood a large and respected school known as Macombi Elite Academy. From the outside, the school looked perfect. The buildings were painted bright white. Students wore neat uniforms. And the school banner proudly displayed its motto: integrity, excellence, leadership. Parents believed their children were receiving the best education in the region. But inside those walls, things were very different. There was favoritism. There was corruption. There was bullying. And most students had learned one painful lesson: if you spoke up, you would suffer. But one girl would soon change everything. Her name was Amina Ndlovu, and the entire system would eventually fall because of her. The girl everyone ignored. Amina was quiet. She was the kind of student teachers barely noticed. She always sat in the back row, her long braids tied neatly behind her head. Her uniform was clean but clearly worn from years of use. Unlike many other students, Amina didn't come from a wealthy family. She lived with her grandmother in a small clay house on the edge of Macombi. Her parents had died when she was very young. Life had forced her to grow up quickly. Every morning she woke before sunrise, helped her grandmother prepare tea, and then walked nearly 40 minutes to school. Most students arrived in cars. Amina arrived on foot. And, because of that, many students looked down on her. But there was one thing no one could deny. Amina was brilliant. Her mind was sharper than anyone else in the school. She loved learning. Mathematics felt like puzzles. Science felt like magic. History felt like traveling through time. Every exam she took, she scored near the top. But strangely, teachers rarely praised her. Her success made certain powerful people uncomfortable, especially one group, the Golden Five. At Macombi Elite Academy, 5 students controlled everything. They were known as the Golden Five. They were rich, they were popular, and they were untouchable. Their leader was Jason Kunda. Jason was tall, confident, and always surrounded by admirers. His father was a powerful businessman who donated large amounts of money to the school. Teachers feared upsetting him. Next was Vanessa Dubé, the most fashionable girl in the school. Then Chris Bonda, the loud class clown who bullied weaker students. Then Lydia Moyo, who loved spreading rumors. And finally Ethan Cole, who filmed everything on his expensive phone for social media. Together, they ruled the school like kings and queens. If they liked you, your life was easy. If they didn't, your life became a nightmare. And unfortunately, for Amina, they had chosen her as their favorite target. The day of humiliation. One afternoon, the class waited nervously for their physics exam results. The teacher, Mr. Kamau, walked into the classroom carrying a stack of papers. He cleared his throat. I must say, one student achieved the highest score in the class. Jason leaned back in his chair confidently. Everyone expected his name. But the teacher said something surprising. The highest score belongs to Amina Ndlovu. The classroom fell silent. Then laughter erupted. Jason frowned. That must be a mistake. Vanessa crossed her arms. There's no way. Chris walked over to Amina's desk and grabbed her exam paper. Perfect score, he said mockingly. Ethan started recording with his phone. Vanessa suddenly grabbed Amina's backpack and dumped everything onto the floor. Books scattered everywhere. Students watched. Some laughed. Others looked uncomfortable. But nobody helped. Amina slowly knelt down and picked up her books. She said nothing, but inside her mind, something changed that day. Something powerful. The secret nobody knew. What the Golden Five didn't know was that Amina had been quietly watching everything for months. She had noticed strange patterns. Certain students always got high grades even when they failed tests. Teachers treated rich students differently. Rules only applied to poor students. And sometimes, teachers secretly gave exam answers to certain students. Amina had a habit of observing details others ignored. And she had started collecting evidence. Photos, notes, recordings, all saved on an old laptop her grandmother bought at a secondhand market. At first, she didn't know why she was collecting these things. But after the humiliation in class, she finally understood. If the system was broken, she would expose it. The first truth. One evening, Amina stayed late in the school library. Most students had already gone home. The hallways were quiet. While packing her bag, she noticed something unusual. Principal Mr. George was meeting someone in his office. Curious, she quietly walked past the door. It was slightly open. Inside, Jason's father sat across the desk. A thick envelope slid across the table. Jason's father spoke softly. "I trust my son's academic record will remain excellent." The principal smiled. "Of course. Macombi Elite Academy always supports its best students." Amina's heart started pounding. This wasn't favoritism. This was bribery. Slowly, she pulled out her phone and pressed record. She captured everything. The conversation, the envelope, the handshake. That moment changed everything. Because now she had proof. The beginning of the storm. That night, Amina sat at her small desk at home. Her grandmother slept nearby. The laptop screen glowed in the dark. Amina created a folder titled Macombi Truth. Inside it, she placed the recording. But she knew one piece of evidence was not enough. If she wanted to expose the system, she needed more. So over the next few weeks, Amina quietly gathered information. She recorded teachers leaking exam answers. She documented bullying incidents ignored by staff. She photographed fake grade sheets. Piece by piece, the truth came together. The anonymous message. One Monday morning, something strange appeared on the school notice board. A printed paper. It read, "How much is a perfect grade worth?" Below the question was a photo. Principal George, receiving an envelope from Jason's father. Students gathered around in shock. Whispers spread through the hallways. Teachers rushed to remove the paper. But it was too late. Someone had already shared the photo online. Within hours, the entire town was talking. Parents demanded answers. Students began questioning everything. The school administration panicked. And Jason was furious. The investigation. The school immediately started an investigation to find who leaked the image. Students were questioned. Phones were searched. Classrooms were monitored. Jason was determined to find the culprit. One afternoon, he cornered Amina in the hallway. "You think you're smart, don't you?" he said coldly. Amina stayed calm. "I don't know what you mean." Jason leaned closer. "Whoever did this will regret it." But Amina simply walked away. For the first time, Jason felt something unfamiliar. Fear. The truth explodes. A week later, something even bigger happened. A mysterious email was sent to every parent in Macombi. Attached to the message were several files. Audio recordings, videos, photos. Evidence of corruption inside Macombi Elite Academy. Teachers selling exam answers. Students buying grades. Administrators accepting bribes. The files were undeniable. Within hours, the story spread across social media. Local journalists arrived at the school. Parents demanded justice. Government officials launched an official investigation. The system that had seemed so powerful started collapsing. The fall of the powerful. The investigation lasted several weeks. The results shocked the entire country. 3 teachers were fired. The principal was arrested for corruption. Several wealthy parents were exposed for bribery. Jason's father lost multiple business contracts. And Jason, the once untouchable king of the school, was expelled. The Golden Five disappeared from Macombi Elite Academy. For the first time in years, the school felt different. Fair. Honest. Free. The final revelation. Months later, during a school assembly, the new principal addressed the students. He spoke about honesty, about courage, about the importance of standing up for what is right. Then he said something unexpected. "The person who exposed the corruption at this school has shown extraordinary bravery." The students looked around curiously. "Today," he continued, "we want to thank that person." Slowly, the principal turned toward the back row. "Amina and Ndlovu, please come forward." Gasps filled the hall. Amina slowly stood up. Students watched in disbelief as she walked to the stage. The quiet girl everyone ignored had taken down the entire system. The principal handed her a certificate of honor. The room erupted into applause. But Amina simply smiled softly. She hadn't done it for attention. She had done it for justice. The girl who changed everything. Years later, Amina would leave Macombi and study law. She would become one of the most respected anti-corruption lawyers in the country. But people in Macombi never forgot her story, because it taught them something powerful. Strength doesn't always look loud. Courage doesn't always look fearless. Sometimes, the quietest person in the room is the one capable of changing everything. And sometimes, the girl everyone thought was weak is the one who brings down the entire system.